Toys, toys, toys. That's all I gotta say.
I was waiting. I was like, Dave, what are you gonna do for your intro for this one?
I was like, toys?
Of course, now you just say toys, and I think is that weird Robin Williams movie from
Yeah, I
the
know.
early
That's
90s.
kind of what I thought. Oh man, that's a hidden gem that I used to watch so much.
That is a really weirdly effed up movie.
It is. There is something. Yeah, if you've watched, you know what I'm talking about, or you know what we're talking about when it comes. It's interesting. It wasn't a big movie in the 90s.
It was not. No, it was not.
But I just remember it being on HBO or one of the movie channels a lot. And anytime it was, me and my brother would just watch that. And I loved LL Cool J and how he like hid. It was so camouflaged all the time throughout that whole movie. Remember that? Where I would actually try to hide like that in my house. Yeah.
Oh god. Can I also point out the fact that this title card really annoys me that the apostrophe is missing?
Did you catch
that?
Oh, look at that little error right there.
Oh, bugs the crap out of me. I'm just sitting there going, "Where's the apostrophe?"
Yeah. I didn't even realize that until you pointed out right now, because it's a good title card, very comic booky.
You know what? It reminds me of the Spider-Man No More cover. Yes,
exactly. Or even like the shot in Spider-Man 2 where it's like hanging out of the trash.
Yeah, but the Spider-Man 2 shot is an homage to that cover.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, so it's a good, but damn, now I'm like, oh, disappointed they forgot the apostrophe. How dare they?
How dare they?
What's going on, Tet? We got Fear Jason here. Hey, we got real life friend Christina in the house. How's it going? Good to see you.
Oh, the pizza and that.
Yeah,
I like
pizza in
the
shot.
profile shot. Yeah.
I had pizza last night, which was delicious. But thank you for everybody's joining. Of course, people are going to probably slowly joining a little bit more because
when they think that normal time is going to be like a half an hour.
Yeah,
we'll be like at the end of the episode. They'll be like, "What the fuck?"
Well, yeah, I'm like, sorry, doing a Patreon stream, and yes, after this, I'll be doing the monthly Patreon stream where I like to show some appreciation to the people that support the channel. If they want to come on and bullshit with me for a couple of hours, do so. And if you want to be a part of it, just subscribe to the Patreon and let's have a chat. So that'll be happening about 7:15. So in about 45 minutes, not 45 minutes. Did I put it at 7:15? I think we can. I did. I should have put it at 7:30. That's probably when it will be. So who knows? Because sometimes we go off. It depends on how many tangents.
The tangents. Yeah.
No, yeah. I might have to bump that another 15 minutes, but I think we'll be okay. But anyways, yes, we're talking about the Riddler's reform. And I remember last week I was going, why isn't there no bells ringing? And then I was like, duh, Dave, it's the one where he flips over the board with the number. Come on.
Numbers, yeah. I think I said this last week, but I'll say it again for this week's episode. I mean, this episode I have watched a lot because it was on the Riddler themed VHS tape.
Yes.
Of Batman the Animated Series, because back in our day, we didn't get a complete series release of Batman the Animated Series starting. Not even getting like box sets until 2004. So when we were kids, there was a Robin, a Joker, I think a Two-Face, and a Riddler themed VHS. And I had the Riddler, and you got to remember in the animated series, there's only 3 Riddler episodes.
Yeah,
I mean, you got it, and this is the last one of the original run. Because, we're only, I was actually doing that, we're only 6 episodes away from wrapping up the original run of Batman the Animated Series before we get into the new Batman adventures.
So quick. And man, StreamYard's doing that thing to you right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I will be back.
Punch in, punch out. Yeah. Usually it happens on the vodka stream, but for some reason it's happening now. Punch in, punch out. So we'll wait for Scott to do that. There we go. And then he'll come back in. Yeah, he's starting to get a little grainy and choppy. Not sure why that happens. It's so weird, but it'll be cleared up as soon as he gets back. So hi, the people that are there right now. Hopefully you guys are having a good night. Cheers. Got some leftover Stella on Friday night. Delicious. And we're back. We're good now.
I mean, I thought the Fan-imated stream was our safe place.
Apparently not. StreamYard is just like, nah, I'm gonna make it nice and choppy and grainy right now. So I was like, God, don't get it. But anyway, so yeah. Yeah, talking about the episode. You said this was Mr. Glover's favorite Riddler episode, right?
I believe so. If I remember correctly, I think I saw a tweet one time from John Glover saying that this was his favorite Riddler episode. I will say it's not my favorite because that obviously goes to if you're so smart, why aren't you rich?
Yeah.
But I do like this one better than What Is Reality. Like, I know that you really enjoy What Is Reality, but this one, I don't know. For some reason, it just it hits better for me if I'm only comparing it to these three.
I could see that. This one, I mean, it's interesting. It's one of those, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you got a bad guy that's, he's released. Obviously, that's what it starts off with when you see the newspaper that says that Nygma is getting released, and then you always just kind of go like, is he reformed? Is he? It's like one of those things, and I think with this one, obviously, Batman's always gonna be. He's just. Wasn't there an episode like this with with the Penguin? There was kind of like something like that.
Yeah, but the difference was this one, the Penguin episode, you actually got the sense the Penguin actually was trying.
Yes.
Birds of a Feather. That was the one.
Birds of a Feather, yeah.
Birds of a Feather. Why I know these episode names? Dear God, that's every time this happens, it's like I'm super proud and super disappointed in myself all at the same time. I am such a nerd. But yeah, Birds of a Feather, he actually was trying. Riddler's Reform, I think the one place where, if I'm going to ding this episode just in its structure, is that it tells you pretty quickly, oh no, he's not like there's no mystery to the fact that no, he's playing everybody.
That's very true. It doesn't really leave it up to because almost like right off the bat, you kind of going, yeah. I mean, obviously, we'll get to it when we're breaking it down right here. But yeah, you're right. Penguin was definitely trying, and then he got pushed to being like, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm just gonna go back to doing this. And it seems like Riddler, with this one, it's like, because right off the bat, you got this truck that's pulling into the convention center, and obviously Batman and Robin are just doing their thing. You see like a cool little shot of them in the shadows. Like,
there's a lot of cool shadow shots in this episode.
There is. There's one in particular. I was like, whoa.
Oh, the eyes one later.
Oh yeah, there was that, and there's another one too.
And the lightning. Yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet. But and then of course, we got the Riddler there, and he's all, he's dressed up. There's a big heavy box with question marks. So of course, naturally, it's like, and I love how Robin goes, yeah.
The callback to What Is Reality was,
yeah.
I love when the show. I love when the show has continuity with itself.
Exactly.
Like when it goes, oh wait, you've seen the other episodes. We can refer back to the other episodes, and I think that's something that Batman the Animated Series started to do, at least as far as animation was concerned, that I really appreciated, was the fact that, oh no, you've watched the other episodes. We don't have to treat every episode like it's
fresh or something new, like
right. And the series has done this before, but I just love the fact that they just continued to do it. Like they continued to go, no way, you've seen the other episodes. We can refer back to an episode from like a year ago, and you know what we're talking about.
Exactly. And Robin saying that the last time he delivered a box like that, the commissioner almost died, and Nygma just kind of was like, what's your point? Like, he's just like, so it's just it's a cool little scene right here, the opening little scene, because we're just kind of wondering, like, is this true? Like obviously we all know that eventually we know that Nygma has not been reformed, but then of course we get his partner in crime, Mr. Charles Baxter. Is there any voice acting?
No, actually, and I paid attention. No, nothing. There was nothing terribly notable about any of the guest actors, which is kind of disappointing after we've had a string of weeks now where it's like I've been like laying down like the knowledge.
Especially last week with
last week
Showdown, it was like nonstop, like everybody, because it wasn't a Batman heavy episode. It was a totally different hero and a totally
different time period,
historical. But okay, so we get Charles Baxter, of course, who's like he's got the monocle on. He's short, stocky. He's upset with Batman. The fact that he's like, hey, what are you doing? This is my new partner. And right off the bat, you go, toys? Really? I mean, obviously, Edward Nygma would... it makes sense business-wise, because if you wanted to have a line of puzzles and toys like that, and utilizing the technology that Nygma has utilized on people...
You think of, I mean, even going back to If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich? You gotta remember, in this version of the character, he was a video game designer.
Yeah, exactly. Smart.
So, I mean, and if you think about his traps, he basically has built like little toys. Like I think about, the ring game that turned into the handcuffs
Yes.
back in that episode. So I liked the natural progression of this still was within the scope of the version of the Riddler that they've created for the series.
Yeah, exactly. And this guy wanted to use the persona of the Riddler this time, so that was kind of interesting. I don't know if that was like if that part's a good business decision to use the Riddler as like
Well, he
your.
said you can't buy that kind of market
I mean,
recognition.
yeah, I
And
guess
he's not wrong. I mean,
that is, yeah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. I don't know why your freaking feed is getting buggy again. Jeez. I
jeez.
know. Try it one more time.
One more
Hopefully.
time, you keep talking, I'll be
Okay.
back.
Yeah. Love John Glover. Oh, yeah. We got some more people in here right here. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard tonight. What's going on, Venom? What's going on, Landon? How you doing? Time for real. Hey, guys. Yes. And of course, Mr. Fear Jason. I guess good to see you still there. All right. Here we go. Should be good now. Hopefully.
Oh,
Yeesh. Remember last week I was having technical difficulties on my end when it came to my computer crashing, but freaking StreamYard, I tell you. No, but yeah, you bring up a good point because it's like, okay, yeah, you can't buy that, like, and people will be fascinated. And obviously it does work because there is mention of toy sales later on in the episode that are like up 20% or something like that. But then I love how he just leaves like a puzzle, like a little puzzle toy for Robin, because we all know that Robin, he's all into that kind of stuff. I mean,
he was playing the video game
yes.
back of that one. I did, however, love the line that says, "We're gonna make a killing," and Robin going, "That's what I'm afraid of."
Exactly, that's what I'm afraid of. But yeah, he leaves him like a little triangle toy thing, and then of course, the next scene that we see is Robin or Dick now, they're obviously in the mansion and he's trying to like figure it out. Well, he's not really trying to figure it out. It's like he's trying to look for any kind of, and that's an interesting thing too, is like if Batman being so like, I don't know about this, taking that toy, I mean, without really examining it first, that's a little risky. I mean, obviously we know that some of these other toys are two-way radios and stuff like that. This could have been something where it's like, what if it was listening to them and all of a sudden Nygma knows your identity? So
I don't know. And there was a weird thing, and I might bring this up later, but there was a lot of toy related gimmicks in this episode that felt a little bit more like a Joker episode than it did a
kind of did.
Riddler episode.
Kind of did. Yeah, I think the only thing in when it comes to Riddler is just trying to figure out certain things that you could tell that he was giving away during like the commercials and stuff. But then of course, like right away we have on the news there's a burglary. Well, not it's not a commercial, but again, this was kind of cool because I even wrote it as Bruce gets all usual suspect esh right here, because as soon as he sees the news report about where these goons like raided a jewelry store and everything, all of a sudden we're hearing, and basically Nygma was giving him clues during that first scene.
It's ancient history.
Yeah.
I'm a new man. Kaiser Soze!
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much he might as well have been looking at that thing and dropped his coffee mug, and then all of a sudden we see Kevin Spacey and his leg is no longer, turned to the side. Great movie, by the way.
Oh, such a good movie.
Such a good movie. Regardless of people involved, of course.
Hey,
but
Christopher McQuarrie wrote that movie. That's all you need to know.
That's true. I forget that he did write that movie. That is true. But yeah, so he basically puts it all together when he's saying like ancient, because it was a jewelry store, right?
It was an antique store.
An antique store. I was thinking jewelry store.
Because he steals like a Ming vase and a Persian rug and all that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Historical things, and then it's like the place is called like Newman's.
It's
whatever.
Newman's Antiques, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go. I'm a new man. So basically, just putting it out there, and I thought that was pretty cool. I like that. And then of course, we get the commercial for the Riddler comes on, and that's where I was like, oh yeah, I love this part just as a kid, just because it's like, oh yeah, he flipped it upside down. And I think I remember just going like when he writes out the long number. I think I remember guessing, like, didn't he just flip it upside down? I think I remember guessing that when I was a kid. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But there was something that's why that commercial and him flipping over the board and showing like the globe. It just kind of like, I was like, did I figure it out when I first watched this? I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. Who knows? But yeah.
I know. I don't think I did, but once again, we're getting towards the end of the run of the series, and like I said, the only reason this episode got any kind of the rewatch that it did was because it was on that VHS tape.
Yeah.
And I love the Riddler as a bad guy.
Exactly. It's still not. It's not a. I don't know. Never mind. I want to.
No, go ahead. I'm thinking the same.
Like, because it's like I want this episode to be better. I don't know. It's just
yes. You feel like it should be better than what it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just okay. And I feel like we've kind of. Do you feel like we've kind of felt that way more about this second season?
Yes.
That we don't have the terrible ones like we did the beginning of at the beginning of the first season, Batman Basement. There's some stinkers, but season 1, now granted, there's also like 60 something episodes. So, we remember like the masterpieces that happened in that first season. Season 2, I don't know if we've really had masterpieces. We've had really good ones we've really enjoyed, and then we've had ones that just kind of like, this was okay.
Yeah, it's okay. And I mean, even like some of these, I mean, now we get to the point where there's like a thunderstorm, and I was even like, I don't know if it was the translation of the animation, but some of it looked really like grainy. And I know they were trying to get the rain effect, but some of it just like, it looked a little wonky to me. I don't know if you
I didn't feel that way about the rain. The rain looked the same way as we've seen rain before, like, Two-Face Part 2 or, stuff like that.
Yeah. And your video's doing it again. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know. StreamYard just
doesn't.
Hold
on. Let me do something here. Let me see. Whoop. And then bring it back. Nope. Still, StreamYard's just still grainy. So try it again. Sorry, man. This sucks. I don't know why it's happened. It's StreamYard thing. I don't think it's not his Wi-Fi. It's not anything else. Usually what his Wi-Fi, which we fixed, it would skip. You're good now. Sorry, man. I don't know what the hell StreamYard is.
Normally, we have to fix this one time on the Vodka stream.
That's what's strange about it. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, let's move along. But I was just noticing, I was like, the animation, it was kind of wonky when it came to like the rain effect and everything, I thought. But obviously they were looking at, like, Bruce was basically looking at the numbers as like coordinates, and they did figure it out that it was going to be in this district and there was going to be a bank right there. So it's like, oh yeah, naturally, bank. Of course. Why? Of course he'd want to go there and rob a bank. But nothing. And then it was funny too, because when you cut to the Riddler, who's at this fancy schmancy party, and he's talking to his goons, and they're like, nobody, he hasn't showed up yet. He's disappointed.
He's like, he's losing his touch, and because I think that's the whole point about the Riddler in this episode is that the strength of this episode is just pointing out how much the Riddler has a compulsion. Yes. He can't help himself. There's no reason for him to be committing these crimes. He could be breaking in money hand over fist by doing this toy deal, but he has to do these riddle crimes, and he needs Batman to actually solve them. Like it's a problem he had. Like, this is where you go, no, you are disturbed psychologically.
Yeah, it's interesting because even later in the episode, he talks about like how he's fooled everyone, and then, but not Batman. So he's like looking for that ultimate, riddle. But even right now, he's a little disappointed. And then, of course, he goes to this fancy schman. He's at this fancy party. He just like shows up and he's there, all in the getup. And then, of course, we go back to Batman and Robin, and that's where Batman is like, he did flip it upside down. And when they do it, it's like 10 Leslie or something like that.
10 Leslie, yeah, because
10 Leslie.
Yeah.
So then they figure that out, and then they go there, and they're finally there. Cool little shot, like you said, with the eyes when they come in. That's the shot with the eyes.
That's the shot, yeah.
That was pretty cool. Then, of course, taking on the goons, but man, foul up from Robin. Man, he gets a heavy shell falling right onto his leg. Ouch. because you don't see too many injuries when it comes to sometimes, but he gets injured in this one.
Yeah, but then you know, Batman using the squats, you know, lifting it up. But I love I appreciate the fact though that he like doesn't like just flip it over. He just lifts it up just enough for Robin to get his leg out, and then he drops it. Now I did appreciate that they didn't make Batman look like he had ridiculous strength.
Exactly. I mean, we all know that he's got some good thighs. We've seen that displayed many, many times. But this was full on like, hey, it was arms, legs, you know, lift with your legs. And yeah, he struggles, but yeah, just to get him out, just to get Robin out just a little bit, because yeah, sadly, he didn't see that that dude punched it, and then all of a sudden it was like already starting to be rickety, and then it falls onto him. But then he says, you know, just go on without me. And then we have a pretty intense scaffolding type of sequence with the goons and Batman, you know, obviously going down on one of the cables, and then they just release the whole thing and it just starts freaking free falling.
I thought it was interesting to where there's like, wow, you goons, you're just kind of doing this to yourself. And then they try to hit the brake, and it's like, yeah, momentum.
Yeah, and then it just but hey, they're fine. Those guys are fine. And then, you know, car pulls up and they get into it. So I mean, they got away at least, right? But
I remember the party scene the
party
best when it comes to this episode, and like when he's like walking around. That's like, for me, when I thought about this episode, it's the most memorable part. And I even sent you that GIF of the Riddler going,
yeah,
that exactly. And like I remember that so much, because I remember Batman kind of getting like his pants pulled down to his ankles in a way, you know, at the end of that scene. But it was like, that was like the one part of the episode that just like clung to me, because this is one of those episodes that like I forgot the ending. I forgot how the episode ended, but I remember that scene crystal clear in my memory.
Yeah, and just being paraded around, and then all of a sudden you get a sexy woman, and that's the gift that you sent me, where he's just like, you know, obviously she's looking at him, and he's like, and then you hear like they actually added a sound effect of boing. They actually
they did. Like, oh, I'm sorry. When the other girl walks up and holds up the two radios and goes, "How do these work?" And I'm like,
something suggestive right there for sure.
I went,
It was like two balls.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, okay, the animators must have been having they must have had fun with this one, laughing like, tee, we're gonna get away with this. Standards and practices ain't gonna know shit what we're suggesting right here. But it's just funny because there's literally like when he looks over, boing. It's like it's like I had to rewind it. I'm like, did I just hear a boing?
Did we just get Looney Tunes? Did we just get Looney Tunes in Batman the Animated Series?
We totally did. So, but yeah, you know, this is of course after, and it's funny too because he was like before the ladies, he was totally just ruling the room, obviously, with his, because even like Baxter was just kind of going like, oh yeah, you know, the toy, and he's like, I don't know how you feel, and then he just figures it out real quick. You have to be a genius, and so and everybody's just like yay and cheering and stuff like that. But then once the ladies start showing up, watch out. And then he gets a phone call in the other room, and then this was pretty well. First off, he did that whole look in the mirror, just like, you're adorable. Like what?
And I love Batman just being like, okay, it's just that's sad.
Yeah, and your feed's doing it again. Jeez, I don't know what the heck's going on with this. I know, I feel bad, man. I don't know why it's doing this. So sorry, guys, that this is happening tonight. But hopefully it'll just like one more time.
We're just gonna be limping to the end of the stream.
It's sounding like it. I don't know. I'm like, good. It's like as soon as it just starts to go whoop whoop whoop, and then it just does it. I'm like, damn it. It's all good though. But yeah. So and then he gets a call in the other room, and then when he says that, he actually says that in the room, and then Batman's just chilling there. He's just like leaned up against the desk, like, adorable, huh? You know, and I love that. Because it's like, oh, okay, so we got him in there. And then he just basically is like saying, I'm on to you. But then Nygma pulls something, you know, out of his toy sack, I guess you could say, or the balls, I guess we could say. I know. Wow, I just did that. Yes, I did. I did, Scott. Because he had the two balls. And they're two-way radios, which I thought was interesting because everybody's holding one in pretty much in the room, or like has one. So now he's just, everybody's hearing their conversation, and then of course he just opens the doors and is like, "Look at this, guys! Batman's here, and he's accusing me for being a bad guy. What the hell?" Which I thought was pretty cool. I forgot about that part big time.
See, that was the part I was saying I completely remembered. But then he was like, "I'm on to you, Nygma," and then he like turns and there's that awesome like shot of his cape all flung out and the lightning strike, and he disappears out the window. Oh, what a great shot!
Such a cool shot. But yeah, so I know I even rewound that too, just because I liked how, because he just turns around and then it's just like dark, and then you see the cape, and then it's just dark again, and you just see the open window. I'm like, wow, he's a magician. He really is. He's a ninja. But so then we have there, cool. Yeah, I even said cool Batman shot as he leaves, and then the Riddler thinks that Batman is, and then we have this thing where we have Nygma just kind of going like, he's gonna catch me eventually. He's telling the two goons like, hey, he's going to catch me eventually. He really is. So what am I even like, I have to end this. I have to end this thing because no matter what, he's just going to catch me. I've fooled police and the mayor and all. I've fooled everybody, commissioner. I've fooled everybody, but I can't fool Batman. So it's an interesting scene. I actually like this part where he just kind of comes to that realization.
It's very retrospective. It's very self-reflective on the Riddler's part. And like I said, I think this is why this episode, I think these moments are what make this episode speak to me more than, say, what is reality did.
Yeah. Yeah. So then he's just like, he just gets that whole evil, obviously after he breaks all that down, he just gets that evil look to him where it's like, all right, we're going to end this one last time. And then of course we get the commercial. And I mean, we know that he's specifically speaking to Batman when it's just like, we're going to go back to where it all started with toys. And of course, Bruce didn't miss a beat. And basically talking about the toy fair, or like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just a warehouse where the toy fair takes place.
No, he was at the convention center. He went back to the convention center.
Okay, so it's back at the convention center. Okay, I didn't catch that part. I wasn't sure exactly where, or like, because sometimes maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of regular fairs that are more outside. Maybe a toy fair, of course, would not be outside.
Well, no, it would be in a convention center, because when you think of a toy fair, it's more like
everybody's walking around and looking at things,
right? Because it's kind of like it'd be like San Diego Comic-Con. It's like you got to think about like that.
Yeah. And then right off the bat, it's just a little freaky because like he gets into the toy fair and there's like a tank that you would hang yourself like Houdini, like upside down in. And it's, got water in it and everything. And then you see like Riddler with a gun and he just shoots. And you're kind of going like, whoa, just a couple of inches this way, Batman could have bit it if he could, maybe. But then it's like an inflatable
Riddler.
I was like, oh, because I forgot about that part too. Like I was with you. I'm like, how does this end? And I just couldn't remember how it ended. But I was like, whoa, that was interesting. Like, have we really seen the Riddler with like weapons like that? I can't in previous, probably not. So it just seemed a little
he has no.
Yeah. So it was a little like, huh. And then I was like, oh, okay. So he just did that to for the water to drop on him. I mean, I guess the Riddler just decided to get dark. Like he said, he had to beat Batman. So, and then we get this Jack in a Box, Riddler in a box, I guess, almost kind of thing, because it's like a big, it's got the big lever.
Yeah, this felt very Dick Sprang to me. This was, there's an episode we're going to talk about in the third season that literally is Dick Sprang. But, this is like, wow, this is the 50s. This is 50 comics with like the giant props and everything.
Yeah, definitely is that. And there's like a giant, of course, TV screen that shows him on there. And and then the Riddler's just basically just going like, this is it. This is going to be it for you. And all the doors and the windows get all locked, which I'm like, man, when did you have time to install that stuff? Or maybe it's already there and you just had access to it. That's probably what it is. But, and then of course you have and it's pretty like outrageous, like, just a bunch of big sticks of dynamite with a timer on it. So it's a little cartoonish, I guess you could say. And yeah, it's like one of those things where you go, how does the Dark Knight get out? You know, it's like almost like it's a
This is Batman
cliffhanger.
66. Yeah.
Yeah, almost like how is he going to get out of this? Because we see the whole building explode, just completely explode. So it's like, and then going back to like even that one scene where he's like thinking about it, we get a scene where now he's like going, all right, well, I defeated Batman. Enigma's just straight up taking his costume and throwing it in the fire.
It was kind of cool though, spending the rest of the episode seeing him as Nygma and not as the Riddler because he burned his entire outfit.
Yeah, he did that, and it's just like, and that's where I kind of wanted to like chime in on this whole thing, and because it's just it's interesting that he was just like going to give up the whole persona essentially, but then of course Batman's there, and then or like the Batarang. I love it when the Batarang like comes into play, and then he's just like
What?
yeah, how did you? And then of course he wants to know desperately how he did it, but here we go right here.
Part of me has died tonight.
Part of me,
And
see,
so
part
it
of me
is
has
time
died
to
tonight.
Move on.
That's interesting. Ta-da! That's cool. Cool shot.
I don't believe it.
These goons.
These goons, you really have a chance. No. Right into the coffee table. Oh. Right on top of him.
Oh, that guy's heavy too. I mean,
oh
seriously.
yeah, that's a couple of rib breaks right there, for sure. Yeah, this right here.
There's no way you could have survived that explosion. How did you get out?
That's
How
my
did you
little
get out?
riddle.
Please, you must tell.
Just tell me.
All right, you win.
See, this
You
is
tell me
Glover's
what
so great.
I want to know, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
His
then
voice is so
Where you've
high,
hidden
like he's
everything
so
you've
like,
stolen.
let's make a deal.
Certainly.
yeah.
I'll even tell you how I committed all those robberies. Deal?
Deal.
No.
Its face. And then
Did you get
whoop,
that?
gotcha. Used his own toy against him. I love how he's still
This is
wearing.
one part I didn't quite
This ought to
understand
be
because
enough
it's
to
like
prove a
it's not
parole
like
violation.
they
You're going
don't
away for
already
good
have
this
two-way
time.
radios.
All right,
True.
get him out of here.
True. That's very true. Yeah. But I think they wanted to do that little callback. They had
My
to.
compliments. This is a great little idea.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you have
Aren't you gonna
walkie
tell me
talkies.
how you did it?
I know, right?
That's not fair.
That's not
Yeah.
fair.
That's not fair. So, and then of course he's gone right there. But then obviously we get
Oh,
get
the ending.
whole
We got to
thing.
show the ending.
All
Yeah, we
things
got to show
are
the ending.
fine.
He's telling Dick how it happened, and
And I was out of time.
there's out
There
of
was
time.
only one thing to do.
Get in the
I jumped
safe.
Inside the safe.
Indiana Jones crystal skull.
Skull with the refrigerator. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly
right?
what I thought about when I saw that.
Exactly.
Nice going, Bruce. Man,
Is
I'd
it
have
weird to
never
you that
thought of
Alfred's
that.
like just sitting there with a
Neither would
coffee
the
pot, just like
And it's clear.
it is? I know, right?
And then this right here, I love
Oh,
this.
this part.
Impossible! My trap was perfect.
And Joker's like, shut up.
And Two-Face is right there, like
Yeah.
It's not fair. There was no way. I tell you, no way.
he is losing his
You
ever-loving
can see why
mind.
you can see why John Glover loved this. Probably because of this.
Somebody tell me how he did it. I
Have to know. Have to know. I
Just
mean, even the way he
loses
like
it.
trails off at the end, like he's just
Yeah.
like, I have to know.
So great. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because he's the Riddler. He's got to know all things like that. So it's a great way to end that episode right there of him just losing his mind, and the fact it's like, yeah, dude, you need to be in here still. You big time need to be in here still. You have not been reformed. No, you have not.
Oh, so like I said, it's a fine episode. It's
Yeah,
a fine episode.
but it's-
It just isn't great, you know. And I think that's the problem. It's not like every episode has to be great. It's just
No.
that when there's a series that
Yeah.
has so many great episodes, and we hold it to a standard,
We
that
do.
when we get these episodes that are like, well, they're fine. It's like, yeah, but couldn't it have been another great one?
Could have been, yeah. It could have been better. It could have been better. There's some scenes in here that were really good, and then there's some where like, okay.
I
All
feel
right.
like they're just kind of like paint by numbers a little
Yeah.
bit.
A little bit like that. But there's just like, but I do like when we we get to know the Riddler a little bit more when it comes to his psyche, I guess you could say, and his obsession, like you said, with the Riddler crimes, and then his obsession with Batman, essentially, too. And then just kind of basically like when he thought that he defeated Batman 100%, he didn't even want to be Riddler anymore. Like he was just like throwing in the towel. It's just, I like those moments, but everything else is just, like you said, paint by numbers. So. What we got next week?
Oh, next week. Now, next week, I have not watched this episode in a long time.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to it because I remember it being a really good one. I remember the twist at the end, too. But next week's episode is Second Chance.
Second Chance. Ooh, okay. See, I remember that. Obviously, this is a Two-Face episode.
It's a Two-Face episode, yeah.
So, and yeah, I do remember this one. I don't remember fully, and I'm trying to remember the ending of this one too, but I know it involves, of course, Two-Face and wanting to correct that. So it's like almost like another villain, almost trying to get a reform as well. But
there is a lot of reform going on. Yeah,
a lot of reform going on. This is, but of course, it's not just mental; it's also physical.
Yeah.
When it comes to Two-Face. So I remember it being a good episode as well. So good. So watch that. Second Chance next week. And anything else you want to add for tonight?
No, I think that's it. Like, it was again fine episode. We got through it. I mean, there's not that. It's not that deep. It just isn't that deep of an episode. It's a fun episode, but just not a deep episode.
There it is. All right. Well, go ahead and send us off then.
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast, the DC Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. We're on Vero, Facebook, YouTube, with the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com. And of course, we are a fan-supported network, so head on over to patreon.com/squadcastmedia, where you can have access to over 400 pieces of exclusive content for just as low as $5 a month. So we appreciate the support.
There you go. All right, guys. Smash that like, thumbs up. Do all that. Follow me on the sock meds that are all down there if you want to. And like I said, if you want to be, you want to come on and chat on the Patreon stream, I'll be doing that in a little bit here. I'll probably just be a little bit late, maybe, because I just want to make sure I'm good and organized and everything like that. But yeah, we'll be starting that in about 10 minutes or so. But yeah, if you want to be a part of it, subscribe to the Patreon. I always like talking to the supporters of the channel. It's always fun. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Everybody else, we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Talk to you later.